Okay, welcome to the mailbag. Remember, these are questions and comments that you guys leave on the channel, and I do my humble best to try and answer them if I think they're worthy of pushing out into the wider tuber community. But before we start, let's get on with the normal parish notices. So, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe icon. If you want to be notified when I post new content to the channel, hit the bell icon. And if you want to support the production of videos on the channel, please go across to Patreon and give us more donation. That's www.patreon.com/The Music Tech Guy UK. All funds received via that route are there for supporting and the channel in general and the production of these. But final part of the parish notices is in this era of coronavirus or COVID-19, depending on which way you want to call it. Remember, wash the handies, stay at home. Are we going anywhere else? And, we will come through this. And in a few months' time, we will look back at this and think, how do we survive? But stay safe. Oh. So, first one for this mailbag session. And it comes from Alexandros Roussos. I hope I've got that right. As you know, I am the world's worst person for pronouncing people's names. Anyway, Alexandros writes, Thanks for your video. Has this been fixed in the firmware since you have posted a video? So this was some issues I found with the Kordbot when I was trying to make it work with the TB3, and I thought that would be a really interesting combination. But the video itself was done way back in 2019. It was actually April 2019, and I'll answer the question this way. My Kordbot is currently on beta 4.11. I haven't got around to updating it to the current version, which is an interim release, which is called version 5. Now, what Isla Instruments have said is that they went down a wrong alley with the firmware on the Kordbot, and they were having overhead issues when they were trying to put in the sequencer stuff, which they've promised the community for quite a while. And they've put their hands up, and I've done videos about this, so I'm not going to repeat it, but they put their hands up and said, we went down the wrong way. We're now going down what we think is the right way. We've got somebody new in to work on it. And with a little bit of luck, they're now seeing a lot of performance improvements over the way the Kordbot did work against how it is now going to work, without losing the functionality that we already had on the Kordbot that we know and love on previous beta releases. So I don't know when the new version of the firmware is going to arrive in terms of the next version with more improvements in terms of how the firmware operates. But what I do know is Brad does keep sort of coming onto social media and say, look, please bear with us, guys. It is happening. It is coming. It will be here soon. So in terms of me retesting now, I haven't retested it since. But I feel it's probably not worthy me retesting it to say whether it has been fixed or it hasn't been fixed, given the fact they're just basically pulling the firmware to pieces and stitching it back together in a new way. So next one comes from Girth Unitis. Girth Units, I think is what it's meant to say. In fact, I'm pretty sure, but it's spelled with a Z. And he or she writes, I was wondering about that when hearing that the first demo, the sound I remember was more present and digital sounding and beautiful. I'll give it a video like this because of the time you put into it, and especially for the first demo. Even if you didn't quite like the original, the chords played are still really nice. Thanks. And then there was another one which was on the same subject, which was from Plugin Guru. I did the programming for the drum card, and I can assure you it would have sounded a lot better if you'd loaded the card first. The M1 couldn't read drum kits from cards, so you have to load them into memory for the kits, for the drum kits to load. So the Vibe guy is going nuts. Is supposed to be a drum kit. smiley face. Cheers. So I have. This was in response to the video I did. There was a big long video I did in 2017, August 2017, where I basically went through every single one of the Korg cards that had a demo on it, and I loaded it in. I loaded them onto the M1, and then I played them. Now, what's really interesting about this, and about running the channel in general, is I don't know everything. Right, I've put my hands up on several occasions and said I don't know everything, but I'm fairly good at being able to follow logic problems through, and when I do find some interesting stuff, I tend to write it down somewhere. And in fact, actually, what I do a lot of the time is I actually document it in a video. And the reason why the channel started was because I started documenting videos of me having to go and find things and having to do things. And this is the sequence of doing things. And I thought, well, it's worth sharing that sort of stuff with you guys, because somebody else is going to do exactly the same thing. So putting it in a video. And to be honest, I actually watch my own videos back if I'm trying to do something in a couple of years' time. And I've done this several times recently where I've needed to go and do something. I thought I did a video about that. Go back to the video, watch the video, and it tells me all the steps in order to be able to do things. But going back to this, I don't know everything. So sometimes, you guys tell me things I don't know. And one of the things that came out of that video, after doing that video, and I really do mean to go back and reshoot it, is the fact that now I more understand the Korg architecture. I really understand what these guys are talking about. And it kind of makes a lot of sense. And I'll explain why. When the sequences were written, they would have been written on one of the machines, and at the time they would have loaded all the sounds into the memory of the machine so that they could actually write the sequences. Okay, so you're following so far. On your M1, you will have all the sounds, and then you start writing your sequence. Then at some point, what they do is they then save the sequence off to the memory card, right? But in the sequence memory, it still thinks that sound number 1 is bank 1, 01, and sound number 2 is bank 2, 02, and the drum kit is number 4. Okay, and as far as the sequence is concerned that's been saved off to card, that's how it views it. So when you load the card in, or you run the sequence from the card, it is then going and looking at those tone locations to get the sounds to make the sequence work, as in generate the sequence and the music you hear. And why I say this is entirely logical, because if they then send the right sounds to the card, so the 100 combinations and programs that are loaded on the M1 are loaded on the card, what you need to do is you need to take those 100 combinations and programs, you need to bring those back from the card and put them into the locations on the machine that the sequencer is expecting to find them. And that's kind of what a number of you guys have pointed out to me. And I have to be honest and say, when I did the recording, it just didn't occur to me that that's what was going on. Now, you guys have pointed it out to me. It's perfectly logical. That's the logical explanation of why it has to work that way. So, with a bit of luck, when I do the re-recording, which will be after we come out of this COVID-19 lockdown scenario, but I will do a re-recording of that. I will properly load everything off the card onto the machine and then run the sequences again. And hopefully next time round you will really see the power of the M1. I'm hoping. But, good point. Well made, both of you. So, next one from my friend Bruce in sunny California. And he writes, in my experience, the eBay shipping inflation is related to hard to find items, for example, the Korg T1 specific buttons. These seem to be becoming rare and expensive, and only seller combines shipping if I message him. Okay, so this was in response to postage, an eBay postage rant I had 2 years ago, actually. Well, 3 years ago, in 2017, or October 2017. And I really still have a problem with the whole eBay shipping thing. And I'm actually going to, funny enough, I've got a thing to do on the rant about shipping, because it's amusing. It's annoying, but it's amusing. So look out for that. And it's sort of, I've decided that it's cheaper for the buyer to use international services from another carrier than eBay. I really do believe in that. There are other reasons beside cost. Yes, it is slightly cheaper, but generally what I find is that another carrier is generally quicker. And this goes back to an experience I had a few years ago. Well, I say a few years ago, actually, it was mid last year, where I did a media copy for somebody of the T1 master disc, or the factory settings disc, and the particular tuber who got in contact with me is only literally from where I lived, or from where I live now. It's probably about 50 miles in that. Sorry, no, it's 50. Probably about 100 miles in that direction. Okay, he lives in northern France. He's an expat, I believe, and he lives in northern France. So I sent this disc via the eBay shipping system, okay? And as I say, from where I live now, it's probably about 100 miles. From where I lived, it's probably about 150 miles. And it took nearly 20 days to get from England to France to this particular individual. I then sent another disc with something else on it, another media replacement disc with something else on it, to somebody else in northern France. Okay, and I sent it via a courier, a standard one of these sort of companies you get off the internet. I can't remember which one it was now, but whichever one it was, and it took 2 or 3 days. And I said to Bruce that I sent him a package of media discs late last year. Okay, and this was sort of a package. It was about yay big, yay by yay. Okay, I sent that package to him, and in reality, if you take the weekend out, it took 5 working days to get from where I live in or where I lived in the UK to where Bruce lives in California. Okay, so there's the difference between using eBay and using another courier. There are some other differences as well. The insurance costs are more retrospective or respective of the goods being sent. So in the UK, we have a system called the Royal Mail, which is a sort of central postal service within the UK. And the Royal Mail, if you send something tracked, automatically will insure that package for £50. So as long as that package is not, the contents of that package are not worth more than £50, Royal Mail automatically insure it. Okay, you get that for free. And a lot of the couriers as well, the carriers, will offer you £50 or £100 worth of free insurance just by taking their product on. And the third reason why I don't like eBay postal system is the other carriers don't seem to go via Outer Mongolia. And what do I mean by that? But if you look at the tracking of a package that's been sent via the eBay system, okay, the package will get there, right? And I have no issue about the package getting there. But it's all the transit stops that package makes on its way between you and whoever. And this is sort of kind of what I was saying. I'm going to have this sort of rant on the rant, which is, where does your package go? If you looked at the tracking of a package that's been sent via the eBay postal system, you'd be absolutely astonished how many different places that package goes before it actually lands on your doorstep. So I think the eBay system, you're paying for an amusement value. Package will get to you, but it may not get to you very quickly. Okay, the last one for this section comes from Marcel911. A video about a musical instrument that's never heard. What is the point? I have one, so I know what it sounds like. The MIDI pipe was my favourite. So, as you guys know, sometimes I will do a video about a piece of equipment, but I won't play it. And the reason I don't do that is because I'm talking about the actual technical aspects of the equipment, not its tonal quality. And in other times, I will play the instrument, and I probably will start playing the instruments more and more as we go along. But definitely a number of these where I've done these videos, I've done something that says this is what this instrument's all about, and I've done another video that says this is what it sounds like. And I try to be honest in the narratives about the instrument, saying this is an overview, this is what it sounds like. And this was in response to the FB01, a quick overview I did in 2015, December 2015, so it's not long after I started the channel. And I've got to say, well, thanks for the feedback. You know, all feedback received is, you know, as long as it's positive criticism, I'm happy with that. I've said that before on the channel, so there you go. There's some positive criticism. As I said, it was done as an overview. It wasn't done as me playing the video because I was waving it around in my hand. But personally, if I was to look at the FB01, I really like the string section. I like, especially if you've got a couple of FB01s, you can actually lay like 4 sets of strings over the top of something in the background. It really starts to give you some sort of depth to the sound. And I also kind of like the church organs and the organs. The hammered organ wasn't bad on the FB01 if I remember correctly, but it's a long time since I've played the FB01 in that area. I tend to use the strings. I like the strings, and I like some of the organs, and I like some of the sort of harsher synth sounds. They're actually quite good on the FB01. Remember, the FB01 at the end of the day is a DX7 with only 4 operators, but that's what an FB01 is. Exactly the same logic circuit in there.